Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Sina, and I'm a developer advocate at Here Technologies. Just for a show of hands, how many people do we have here, and kind of where are you with school and your experience with computer science? Okay, I'm not hearing anything back yet, but we can kind of get started. So the topic for today, yeah, feel free to message me anytime if you have questions. Feel free to share. But yeah, to get started for today, we're going to be talking about Chrome extensions and more in general browser extensions. So browser extensions are just tiny attachments that come to your browser and they let you interact with different elements of that browser. So you can do different events like, okay, when the browser starts, do this, when a new tab is open, do this, or even you can take a look at different elements on different websites to see what kind of things are there and you can interact with them. You can change their color, you can change their font, you can even change the content of them. So there's a lot that you can do with Chrome extensions and just browser extensions like Firefox extensions, things like that. So I wanted to kind of chat with you about different types of extensions out there, and I wanted to create one extension together today to see what kind of things are we allowed to do and kind of to show you how simple it is to start making a Chrome extension. All right, so if you have already used a Chrome extension, feel free to drop the name. If not, we can kind of go and check out some extensions together. So, for example, one extension that I think many of you might know about is Ad Blocker. So we can kind of go maybe find that ad block. Um, that might be one example of something that is also available as a Chrome extension. So you can see it here, Chrome extensions. You can see different types of Chrome extensions that kind of do all sorts of things. But this one, it kind of identifies what are some ads and it will kind of stop showing them to you. So, what are some other kinds of extensions? So, another big one is Grammarly. It seems like lots of people are using it. And what it does is that it looks to see when you're typing something and it kind of comes in the corner and gives you some suggestions. If you are doing something like maybe thinking about doing a startup, or maybe thinking of, I want to do a quick demo for a hackathon and I want to show something interactive with a website that people are already familiar with, Chrome extensions are really a good way to do that. One thing that you can do for a startup, kind of like Grammarly, is thinking that, okay, so when people are kind of doing something, they might not be thinking about, oh, here's a new website that I want to go to. They usually have maybe one or two, maybe 4 or 5 different pages that they go to very often. And maybe you can meet the customers where they are with Chrome extensions. So you can kind of go to, their Gmail and see when they're typing, you can go help them where they are. So I think Chrome extensions are really, really helpful and really cool to let you do different kinds of things. So let's go and trying to see if we can make one together. So if we want to go to like developer, Chrome, extensions, you can see lots of documentation for how to get started. So we're going to get started with creating a manifest file. So we can go to our terminal and create a new file. So we can touch manifest.json. And this manifest file is just kind of the information about what your Chrome extension is called, what it does, and kind of the general information of it. So maybe like what version is it at, and kind of what permissions does it have. So kind of an overview of what this thing is. Let's open it up and start creating it. So we can just copy paste what we find here for now and put that in our manifest. All right, so currently we have a getting started example. It's at version 1, and that's about it. Okay, so if we want to load that in our extensions, we can go to our extensions and we can turn on the developer mode and we can say load unpacked and we can load this extension. Cool. But where it is at right now, it doesn't really do anything. So let's go and try to do something with it. Maybe an easy thing to do would be if we go to Google, say we're searching for something like here, technologies, we can see that just thinking of like ad block plus and ad blockers and how they work, we can kind of do something similar to those and see if we can kind of do something maybe with the ads here. So maybe we can target this ad and see if there's something that we can do kind of to see it, or maybe we can even remove it. So let's go ahead and kind of get started with our manifest file and see if we can add permissions to our extension to see google.com and pages under google.com and see what we can do with it. Okay, so we can add script. We can add some scripts to it. Can see exactly what that looks like in overview and content scripts. So with content scripts, you can add kind of, we're trying to interact with this element. So what we can do here is say we can first having to add the permissions to it. So that's one thing we're going to do. So adding the permissions, active tab, that is great. So we're saying if the user is looking at their active tab, then we want to do something with it. So now we can add this part to add the content scripts to it. Okay, so now we have our content scripts. And what we want to do with this is we want to say when our user goes to google.com. So instead of New York Times, we want to change that to Google. And when you see the star is basically saying anything. So this could be www, but because you don't feel like typing it, you can put in a star. The star at the end is also saying like anything that comes after google.com. It could be /news, whatever. We're not going to do anything crazy with CSS today, so we can get rid of it and we can call it content script or main.js, whatever you want to call it. So right now we have this. So let's create our main.js file now. So let's do main.js. Perfect. And here we can say document dot add event listener. And when our page loads, we want to call our function main. And let's go ahead and create this function. And for simplicity, let's just say console log something. So let's say hello from extension. Alrighty. So let's now go to our extensions. We want to update our extension. Oh no, does it look? Okay, I probably didn't format it correctly. All right, let's see what I did. Okay, at the end, it didn't need this guy. Okay, so I hope that this should work now. Okay, so it's reloaded. So now let's go to google.com. Google, and let's search for here, technologies. And here we go. Okay, let's see if our Chrome extension worked. It didn't. It didn't work. Oops, that is not what we expected. Add event listener. Let's see why things didn't work. let's see. Let's see. Manifest. We have, oh, HTTPS. Probably that might be why. That might be why. Let's hope that's the case. And let's refresh this page. Inspect console. Yay! So we get hello from extension. So the main part that we wanted to check is that this link here should match the URL that we have here. So previously I had HTTP versus it had to be HTTPS. So now we have our extension actually doing stuff. Let's go and see what we can do to make some changes to it. Okay, now we're here. Now we can say document dot maybe style dot background color. Maybe not. I'm not gonna go fancy to change the color of the background, but let's just go and see what we can do with this ad element, this advertisement element that we have here. Okay, so our advertisement element is somewhere along this page. We can do an inspect and find it. Okay, so it seems like it's under this div center column. And if we look closer, we can see that it seems like the second item inside of that div is the advertisement that we have. So why don't we go and try to select this element and get the second child and see if we can make it disappear. So we can create a second function, remove ad, and we can say, we can define this like search results, document.get element by, and its ID. And here is the ID of that. And then we want to get the advertisement, which is the second item. Search results dot children. And here we should have the advertisement. So we can try setting, if we want to double check that we got things right, we can say advertisement dot maybe set attribute dot maybe background color. I'm not 100% sure. Background color to red. Maybe this is not the right syntax. I hope it is. If not, we could try something else. But we can kind of also just log it out to make sure that we have the right thing. So advertisement, we can see if we got the right item. So let's just go reload our extension and see if things are looking good. Okay. Nope. I think I know what I did wrong. I forgot to run this function instead of the main function. So now we're still getting hello from the main function. So let's go back, reload this, and see what we have. Okay, so now, okay, it seems like we're targeting the right element. That is good. Apparently, I have no idea how to change background color. But if we want to double check how to do that, we can try doing that here. Temp1 dot style dot background color maybe is red. Okay, so maybe that works. Maybe that works. So we can try this from our extension to see if it likes that way better. So advertisement dot style. Okay, and maybe let's make it blue so we can see the change. Okay, sweet. So now we're able to change the color of our our advertisement. And so now let's go and see if we can just completely remove it. So let's try advertisement dot set attribute hidden is true. And so the item that we expect not to see anymore is this advertisement piece. So the first element that we expect in the future is this one. So let's see if things are going to work. Sweet. We no longer see the advertisement. So this is the gist of how you can use Chrome extensions to interact with different pieces of the web. I wanted to leave some time for questions. Oh, it seems like someone asked if I could increase the font. So yes, I can certainly increase the font. Sorry, it's late. I'm happy to go over it again, make sure that everyone saw what we did. So we started with a manifest, created the name of the extension, the version of it, the description of it, and we gave it some permissions like the active tab. We could be giving it different permissions to go like to different web pages, to maybe save some data from the customer, things like that. We created a content script. We called it main.js, and we said that it can go to places like google.com. Then we started creating our main file. We first tried to print something from the extension to make sure that it's just working. We verified that it's working and we're all happy. Then we created a function, called it remove add, tried to find what element the ad was called. And I hope Google doesn't get mad at me for removing an ad. This is just for demonstrations. So we tried to find out what Google was calling this element, and turns out to be what Google was calling this element. So we found that, saved this element, and then tried to do styling with it. So this is kind of like CSS, setting the background color to blue, but we can just do it with JavaScript easily as well, setting it with JavaScript. So you could totally do this with CSS as well. We just printed it to make sure that we're getting the right element. We were happy with what we got. And then ultimately what we did was that we made it hidden. We don't have to have this anymore because ultimately we're hiding it. And we created an event listener and said, when this page loads, remove the ad, which is this function that we created. So super simple, super quick. Here's your first Chrome extension. So if you want to try and create a Chrome extension, feel free to share it with me on Twitter, on anywhere you would like to. I would love to see what you do with Chrome extensions. Questions, thoughts? If there are no more questions, we can wrap things up here. Thank you so much for joining.